The silence behind her Smelith sun was shining over the film set. But inside Anna, everything felt cold. Everyone saw her beauty, her grace, her perfect performance in front of the camera. They called her a star. They called her strong. But no. One noticed that behind every perfect take, there was something missing in her eyes. Something quiet, something broken. Anna walked across the studio, holding her coffee, pretending to be busy. She smiled at the crew. She nodded at the director. But inside her chest, there was a silence growing louder each day, a silence no one dared to ask about. She had been working non-stop, movie after movie, press interviews, red carpets, always being seen but never really seen, always being heard, but never truly listened to, and that day was no different except for one thing: Keanu. He had been on the set for 3 days now. They were working on a new film together, some drama about time and forgiveness. He was calm, quiet, kind. People respected him. They admired him. But Keanu didn't care about attention. He paid attention instead, and that made all the difference. Anna sat by herself near the trailers, staring at the script but not reading it. Her hands were still, her eyes heavy, her heart far away. And that's when Keanu walked over. No cameras. No crowd. Just him, holding something small in his hand. He sat down beside her without a word. The silence between them wasn't heavy. It wasn't awkward. It was peaceful. Anna didn't look at him right away. She just whispered, "Do you ever feel like you're here, but not really?" Keanu didn't answer at first. Instead, he handed her the thing in his hand. It was a tiny paper crane, folded. Perfectly, Anna looked at it, confused. "What's this?" he said softly. "Someone gave it to me a long time ago, when I was lost. I didn't need advice. I didn't need a speech. I just needed to know someone saw me." Anna's fingers held the crane gently, like it was made of glass. No one had given her something like this before. Not flowers, not compliments, not gifts with cameras watching this. ... This was quiet, real, and somehow it reached her more than anything loud ever could. She blinked slowly, then looked at him. "Thank you," she whispered. "No one's ever ... noticed." Keanu smiled faintly. "I notice people who smile like they're hiding." Her eyes filled with tears she didn't let fall, but Keanu didn't look away. He didn't rush her. He just stayed. And for the first time in weeks, Anna felt like maybe, just maybe, she didn't have to carry everything alone. But that was only the beginning, because something was about to happen on set that would shake her world even more, something that would test the strength. She didn't think she had left. And once again, Keanu would be there, not with answers, but with something even more powerful: presence. Because sometimes kindness doesn't speak loudly. Sometimes it folds into a quiet paper crane. It waits for you to notice it. The clip that shook the world next morning? Anna woke up feeling strange. Her body was tired, but her heart felt a little lighter. The 2 paper cranes sat beside her phone on the nightstand, one folded by Keanu, one given from his own pocket. They were quiet reminders that someone saw her, not the actress, not the image, but the person. She smiled gently at them, touched by their softness. But peace doesn't always last. Just after breakfast, Anna's phone buzzed, a message from her. "Friend in Los Angeles, did you see this video? It's everywhere." Anna frowned, confused. She clicked the link. It opened to a short video, less than a minute long. Someone on set had recorded the moment she collapsed. It wasn't the whole scene. It wasn't even clear what she was saying, just her falling to her knees, shaking, with Keanu quietly stepping in, placing his hand on her shoulder, and the caption above it said, "This isn't acting, this is pain. This is real." Anna's chest tightened. Millions of views, thousands of comments. Some were kind, "She's human." 2. Some were cruel, "She's weak, dramatic, attention-seeking." Others were confused. Is this from the movie or real life? And that was the problem. No one knew the difference. Anna felt exposed. Not because she was ashamed of her pain, but because it wasn't meant for the world. It was meant for healing, not headlines. She locked her phone and sat on the floor, her back against the bed. Tears welled up, not the same kind as before. These were quiet, ashamed, lost, and then a knock at her door, soft, patient. She knew it was him. Keanu stood there, holding a small bag with warm tea and a tired smile. "You saw it?" he said gently. Anna nodded. "Why did they post it?" "Maybe they didn't know what it meant," he said. "Or maybe I thought the world needed to see something real." Anna looked away. "I didn't want to be a symbol." Keanu handed her the tea. "Then don't. Just be you." She sipped slowly, letting the warmth ease her, and then he said something she didn't expect. "A long time ago," he began, "someone filmed me during the worst day of my life. Without asking, it went viral. People made jokes, but someone wrote one sentence under it." Anna looked up. "What did they write?" He smiled. "I don't know who he is, but I hope he's okay." Silence. Anna felt something shift inside her. There were always loud people online, always opinions. But sometimes, in the middle of all that noise, someone whispered something kind, and it mattered. "What do I do now?" she asked softly. Keanu leaned forward. "You tell your truth before others tell it for you." She stared at him, her eyes wide. It was scary, but maybe it was also freedom. That night, Anna didn't post a long statement. She didn't write an essay. She simply shared a photo of the 2 paper cranes in her hand, and the caption said, "Sometimes the quietest gifts help you find your voice again." The world didn't know how to react. Some people laughed, some people cried, but many listened. And for Anna, that was enough. But she didn't know yet something else was coming. Someone unexpected had seen the clip. To someone powerful, and what they did next would bring Anna to a stage she never asked for. But this time, she wouldn't stand there alone. The scene that broke Earth morning after Keanu gave Anna the paper crane. The air on set felt heavier. Everyone was moving fast, lights being set up, wires being taped down, makeup brushes fluttering like butterflies. It looked like a normal day. Anna sat in the makeup chair, silent. The crane sat safely in her jacket pocket. She touched it once, just to feel something that wasn't pressure. Today's scene was important. She had to cry. She had to fall apart on camera. Her character was losing everything: a child, a home, a dream. The director wanted real pain. Feel what act. Feel. But he didn't know the danger in those words, because Anna wasn't just acting. Anymore inside her, something had been building for months. Maybe even years. Too many sacrifices. Too many lonely nights in hotel rooms. Too many moments where she smiled for others and cried alone. And now, standing in front of the camera, she felt it all rising like a storm she couldn't stop. The director shouted, "Action!" Anna started the scene, her voice soft, her eyes heavy. The lines came, but they didn't feel like lines anymore. They felt like truth. And then it happened. Halfway through the take, Anna collapsed, not as her character, as herself. Her knees hit the floor, her breath caught in her throat, her body shook. The crew froze. The camera kept rolling, not knowing whether this was still the scene or something real, but Keanu knew. He stood up without a word and walked onto the set. He didn't ask permission. He didn't look at the director. He just knelt beside her and placed his hand gently on her shoulder. Anna didn't look at him. She was trembling, her face buried in her hands, trying to hide the breaking. But Keanu said softly, "You don't have to pretend right now." Those words broke something loose, not in a bad way, in a healing way. Anna let herself cry, not the perfect, camera-ready tears, but the raw, aching kind. The kind that had been waiting too long. No one moved. No one interrupted. Even the director lowered his head, realizing something sacred was happening. After a few moments, Keanu helped her up, not with force, but with patience. They left the set and walked to the edge of the lot, near an old bench under a quiet tree. They sat in silence again, and then Anna spoke. "I don't know who I am anymore." Keanu didn't rush to fix her, didn't say empty words. He just reached into his own jacket and pulled out something else. It was a second paper crane, a bit older, creased at the edges. "I kept this one," he said, "'cause it reminded me that I could be broken. Still be art." Anna took it carefully, her fingers shaking. She held both cranes in her lap, now hers and his. "How do you do it?" she whispered. "How do you stay ... whole?" Keanu looked out at the sky. "I don't," he said. "I just stay real." For the first time in weeks, Anna smiled a small, honest smile. Not for the camera, not for anyone else, just for herself. But what she didn't know was that her moment of breaking had been captured on film, and someone was about to use it in a way she never expected. Not to hurt her, but to remind the world that even stars can fall and still shine. The unexpected invitation 3 days passed. The storm online had not calmed. The video was still spreading now, with millions more views shared across countries, languages, platforms. People argued about it on TV shows. Podcasts discussed it. News anchors called it the moment Hollywood stopped pretending. Anna stayed quiet, not because she had nothing to say, but because, for the first time, she wanted her silence to be her strength. She stayed close to Keanu, not in a way the world could see, but in quiet places, in his calm presence. In shared tea, in walks through the studio lot, where no one asked for photos, and no one expected her to smile. But then, on a soft rainy morning, everything changed. Anna's manager knocked on her trailer door, holding an envelope in her hand. "You need to see this," she said, eyes wide. Anna opened it slowly. It was an invitation, not to a party, not to an award show. It was from the United Nations. She read the words. "Again and again, you are invited to speak at the World Mental Health Summit in Geneva. Your strength, honesty, and recent vulnerability have touched millions. We believe your voice could help more." Anna sat down, stunned. "I didn't ask for this," she whispered. Her manager nodded. "I know, but maybe it asked for you." Night, she told Keanu. They sat in a quiet diner, no fans around, no flashing cameras. She showed him the letter, her hands trembling. "Should I go?" she asked. Keanu looked at her, calm as always. "Do you want to help people feel less alone?" Anna nodded slowly. "Yes, then go," he said. "But only if you're ready." She was scared. Public speaking was never her thing. She could cry on cue in a scene, but speaking her truth, raw and real, terrified her. But somewhere inside, she knew. This was no longer about her. This was about everyone who ever cried in a hotel room and had no one knock. Everyone who smiled in public and fell apart in private. Everyone who thought they had to be perfect to be loved. The next morning, Anna said yes. She didn't prepare a speech with fancy words. She didn't hire a coach. Instead, she sat on the floor of her trailer, the 2 paper cranes in front of her, and wrote what was real. And when the day came, she stood on the stage in Geneva under soft lights, her heart beating fast. The room was full of leaders, doctors, artists, and students. But Anna didn't see them as powerful people. She saw them as people, just people like. She took a breath and began. "My name is Anna. And recently, the world saw me fall." The room was still. "What you didn't see, ... is that I almost didn't get back up." She told them about the silence behind her smile. She told them about the pressure, the fear, the loneliness. She told them about Keanu, not by name, but as a quiet friend who noticed. She held up the 2 paper cranes, and she said, "Sometimes kindness is not loud. Sometimes it's a hand on your shoulder when you're shaking." By the end, many in the room had tears in their eyes, and when she walked off the stage, she didn't feel small. She felt free. Backstage, a young girl stopped her. "I've been trying to end my life," the girl said. "But when I saw your video, I changed my mind." Anna held her tight. They didn't need more words, but not everyone liked what Anna had said, and someone with power was planning to twist her message, not for healing, but for profit. And when Anna found out, her fight would take a different shape. The offer she couldn't accept when Anna returned from Geneva, Everything had changed. People saw her differently now. Not just as an actress, not just as a face on a screen, but as someone who had the courage to be real. Strangers sent letters. Fans created paper crane drawings. Even schools invited her to speak about healing and honesty. For the first time, her story was not about a role. It was about being human, but not all attention is kind. One morning, Anna sat in her trailer when her manager walked in holding a contract. "They want you for a documentary," she said. "A big one." Anna raised her eyes slowly. "Who's they?" "A major streaming company," her manager answered. "They saw your speech. They want to tell your story. From childhood to collapse, to come back. They say it'll inspire millions." Anna. Read the offer. It was full of money, millions, and promises and views. Creations, staged flashbacks, even actors to play her family. But something felt wrong. Too perfect. Too planned, she asked softly. Do they want the truth? Or do they want a story they can sell? Her manager hesitated, then said both. Anna felt the pressure returning. It's that old tightness in her chest. They wanted her tears again, but this time, polished, timed, and marketable. She stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the sun lit the set. Crew members moved around. Extras laughed in the distance. And across the lot, she saw Keanu sitting on a bench alone, as always, peaceful. She whispered, "I need to think." Hours passed. That night she met Keanu in the same small diner. She told him everything. He listened without interrupting, then said something that stayed with her forever. "You can either tell your story or let someone else sell it." Anna sat in silence. Then she shook her head. "I don't want to be a brand. I want to be a person." Keanu smiled. "Then be one." The next day, Anna declined the offer. Not with drama, just with a simple, honest no. The company didn't like that. Within days, stories began to appear online. Anna turns down inspiring project, losing millions, diva behavior or self-respect. What is she hiding? The headlines stung. Old fears came rushing back, but she held her ground. She posted. Only one sentence on her page, "My story is not for sale." Then she went quiet again, but this time not out of fear, out of strength. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, something beautiful was happening. People, real people, began reaching out. A single mother from Brazil, a teenager in South Korea, an old man from Ireland, all writing to say, "Thank you for reminding me it's okay to break." Anna read every letter, and one day she wrote back to one. A girl named Emily, it's just 16, who said, "I don't have a paper crane, but I folded one out of my notebook. I keep it with me. It makes me feel less alone." Anna smiled with tears in her eyes. Then she did something unexpected. She invited Emily to the set. No press. No cameras. Just a quiet visit. When Emily arrived, she was shaking with nerves. Anna gave her tea, and then placed her original paper crane into the girl's hand. "Now it's yours," she said. Emily cried softly. "Why me?" Anna answered. "Because someone gave it to me when I needed it, ... And now, I know it was never mine to keep." But just when Anna thought her journey was healing others, ... she got news that broke her. Again, someone close to her, someone from her past, was in trouble. Real trouble, and this time, she couldn't help with words alone. The search for the Lostana sat in her kitchen. Holding the third paper crane, a child had mailed her, this one folded with colored pencil drawings and tiny stars. It was late. The world outside was quiet, but her phone rang. It was her sister. She never called this late, Anna answered with concern in her voice. "What's wrong?" Her sister's voice trembled. "It's Mom, ... She left the house this afternoon and hasn't come back. No one can find her." Anna's heart dropped. Their mother had always been quiet, strong but silent. She lived in the countryside, away from lights, away from attention. Anna hadn't seen her in months. They talked, but something in her voice had seemed distant lately now. ... She was missing. Without waiting, Anna booked a flight home. She didn't tell her team. She didn't post it online. This was personal. This was family. She packed only a small bag. And before leaving, she slipped the 2 paper cranes into her coat. Pocket as the plane took off, she stared out the window, whispering, "Please let her be okay." When she landed, the wind felt different, colder, heavier. She met her sister near the old house. The police were already there, along with neighbors searching the woods. Anna walked through the trees alone, flashlight in hand, memories pressing. On her chest, she remembered her mother brushing her hair as a child, telling her, "You don't have to be strong all the time. Just honest." She had forgotten that voice. Now she needed it again. After an hour, she found something. A scarf caught on a branch, and then a small bench near the lake. And there, sitting with her back to the world, ... was her mother. Anna froze. "Mama." The woman turned slowly. Her face was tired, pale, her hands trembling. "I didn't mean to scare anyone," she said. "I just needed silence." Anna dropped beside her, hugging her tightly. They sat there a long time. No words, just warmth. Eventually, her mother whispered, "I saw your video." "The one where you fell?" Anna held her breath. "I cried," her mother continued, "'cause I've been falling too. ... But I never told anyone." Anna looked into her mother's eyes. The pain. Guilt. The years of being the strong one for everyone else. She reached into her pocket, pulled out the 2 paper cranes, placing one in her mother's hand. "Then this one's yours," she said softly. They both cried. And it wasn't a breakdown, it was a breakthrough. The next morning, Yana walked her mother home, made her tea, sat with her on the porch as the sun rose. Healing had started quietly. Honestly, a week later, Anna returned to the film set. No one expected her so soon, but she looked different. I'm not just stronger after too. Keanu was there. Standing near the trailers, he turned, smiled, and said, "You okay?" Anna smiled. "Not always. That's okay." They walked side by side. No hurry. No cameras. Just 2 people who had seen the worst of each other and still stayed. Anna returned to work, but she also returned to life. This time, she spoke openly. On talk shows, she didn't wear a mask. In interviews, she said things that mattered. And whenever someone asked, "How did you get through it?" she smiled and said, "Someone noticed. Someone gave me something small and quiet. It made me feel seen." Soon, people everywhere began folding paper cranes. Not as decoration, but as a promise. A promise to notice. A promise to care. A promise to choose kindness, even when the world is loud and Anna. She kept one last crane in her pocket, serred, faded, but still holding its shape. A gift from a quiet man who never tried to save her. He just stayed when she needed him most, and sometimes that's all we really need.